Hello and welcome to the Whisky.com news recap of 2023, where we look at all the news of 2023, and we've sorted them a little bit differently this year. We still do chronological, but we have three blocks. We have highlights, we have new distilleries, and we have a bit of staff changes. Let's start with the highlights. In January, Murray McDavid had a rebranding, and they rebranded as all the others, a bit more modern, a bit more sustainable. They took out the energy intensive metal tube and put it into recycled cardboard. So everything in the order of sustainability. And then in February we have a new Powers whiskey, and the Powers distillers, they actually dug through the old papers and they found that there were mash bills of rye whiskey back in the days. And what they then did, experiments and tried to rebuild it, and out came the new Powers Irish Rye whiskey, 43.2% ABV. Unfortunately, just available in Ireland. Hopefully they will produce more and we will be able to enjoy more. Then in March we had very potent or very big publicity with a legal battle between people of the Lincoln County in Tennessee and Jack Daniels about distiller's mold, which is a black mold that flies through the airs and settles on houses and cars, and that is because of the alcohol that evaporates in the warehouses and is nutritious, and that fungus can eat that and everything becomes a little bit black. And the people from the Lincoln County didn't want to have new buildings there, so they have 6 buildings from Jack Daniels, and they wanted to build 14 more, and they then sued Jack Daniels, and now the building of the warehouse was stopped by a legal counsel, or I don't know, some justice from the justice system, let's say it that way. And then in March the Lagg Distillery presented their first single malt. I've been to the Lagg Distillery. I think they came out with that core range, but they didn't come out in Germany, our home country. And so they had 2 bottlings, and one was the Kilmorey and the Corrie was the other one, and they're both little small towns near the distillery. And it's beautiful to see an Isle of Arran with a smoky touch to it from a different distillery than the Lochranza Distillery. Then we have in June the distillery of Yamazaki became 100 years old. And the House of Suntory, they really did a big celebration with Keanu Reeves and Sofia Coppola, and they built documentary films, and they had special bottlings, Yamazaki 18, Hakushu 18, and they had investments of $77 million into Hakushu and Yamazaki Distillery, and they really made it and opened it in time for November 2023. And now you can visit them renovated. Then in July, we had another legal battle between Sazerac, which are the proprietors of Buffalo Trace, which was it all about, and they actually sued Allocated Liquors about forged whiskey, or forged whiskey. They had sold whiskey W.L. Weller under that name, but it wasn't the right whiskey. And they said they bought it on the platform Etsy, so don't buy a whiskey at Etsy. You might get some forged stuff, some counterfeit stuff. They won the legal battle, got $30,000 out of it. In August, Gordon MacPhail actually announced that they will be ending their independent bottling business. So the beginning of the end was announced that, and in 2024, this current year, they will not buy any new make from distilleries, and will focus on the distilleries Ben Romach and the Cairn. They don't do this out of free will. They actually, they just can't get any new make anymore. It's really, really hard to get. So now that they are giving up altogether then. Then also in August, the single malt Welsh whisky became a geolocated brand. So you can't really produce single malt Welsh whisky anymore if you're not a distillery within Wales. And that is now protected. Then we have also in August, the Laphroaig Select becomes the Laphroaig Oak Select. It's all the same in there, and it's part of the Proof Positive campaign of Beam Suntory, and will be new recycled cardboard and all the carbon neutral and all that kind of stuff. In September, the Isle of Harris Distillery brought out their first single malt. Took them quite a long time, and they called it the Harach. As I said, took them a long time. It's not fresh, 3 years old as soon as you get out. So it's a mixture between 4 and 7-year-old whiskey from ex-bourbon, ex-oloroso, ex-fino sherry cask, 12 to 15 ppm. And from what we see, it is very well recognized and already sold out. So hopefully we'll get more in the future. But as they're producing quite good, there will be more stock in the future. And then we had some news from Hong Kong. Hong Kong recognized Scotch whisky in September as a brand, and you can't sell Scotch whisky in Hong Kong anymore without being it from Scotland. That is only recognized in 100 countries worldwide. So in the other countries you can actually sell a Scotch whisky, and it doesn't even have to be from Scotland. But 100 countries is quite a lot. In October, Waterford Distillery brought out Ireland's newest, strongest peated whiskies to the market. They actually did it with 2 bottlings, 57 ppm and 74 ppm with the Lacken and the Woodbrook. Then also in October, we have a new association for whiskey. It's the Cask Whisky Association. People from the industry, independent bottlers, distilleries actually came together and built this association, and they want to actually get rules out for trading casks, because there have been a lot of mismanagement with casks, counterfeit casks, and you can't really tell what kind of casks are sold and bought, and there might be a lot of shady stuff going on, and they want to actually get rules for trading whiskey casks the right way. Hopefully that will not be a damper for the industry, because new rules are potentially always infringing on freedoms of smaller distilleries or other distilleries. But hopefully that will be just giving more transparency. Then we have opening of new casks and building of distilleries. First distillery that has been starting their production was the newest, most northern distillery in Japan, and it's on the Isle of Rishiri from the prefecture of Hokkaido. Hokkaido is the big island north of the mainland island of Japan, and it's a micro distillery called Rishiri. Then we have Harvest Lodge Distillery in the north of Dublin. They're getting actually only their building permit for their investment of 100 million euros in Ballybriggan. And it will be home of 150 workers, and they want to be finishing in 2024. In February, we had Bluegrass Distilleries. They were planning for $8 million in their Kentucky plant, and they want to increase by 100. But I guess they were just a craft distillery, so hopefully they will produce. They start their production in 2024, which is the current year. So hopefully it'll start soon. Then we have March, the Uilebheist Distillery in Inverness, a hard word, it's Gaelic. And since 130 years there have been no distilleries in Inverness, but now they have a new carbon neutral distillery that wants to produce 200 casks per year. And they will increase over the next years. Then we have April, the new Deerness Distillery on the Orkneys has been created. Also, since 138 years, there has been no distillery on the Isle of Orkney, newly built. They're planning to start with 200 casks as well, lightly peated whiskies, just as the style of the other two distilleries on Orkney. Then we have May. The Faer Isles Distillery has started their production. It was a project since 2021, and now they are producing about 600 casks per year on 2 stills. And the Faer Islands, these are very much out of the Atlantic. It's from Great Britain. It's like a half or a third way up to the Isle of Iceland. Yeah. Will be a little bit peaty and a lot of local influence on that. Then we have big news about the big distillery of Dalmore. They want to double their production capacity. I've already talked to them a little bit about that when I was at the distillery. It's really hard to do that because of tradition, and they really don't want to change their style of whiskey, and they have condensers outside and not enough space, and it's a bit difficult, but they are planning to do their first mash in August 2024, so a tight schedule. Then we have Eastern Light Distilling plans a new bourbon distillery. The former distillery or master distiller of Kentucky Peerless Distillers Corporation will open a new distillery in the a value of 143 million US dollars in Rowan County in East Kentucky. Well, sounds good. More distilleries is always good. Talking about more distilleries, the Komoro Distillery was opened. This is kind of a bit of the legacy of the famous Krawisawa Distillery. And it will not be the same distillery. It will be the Komoro Distillery, and it was opened on the 23rd of July. And they did the planning and building in almost 3 years, which was quite a good time for building a distillery. Maybe a little bit slow, but maybe they tried to do it perfect. Yeah, it's always the Japanese try to do it perfect. In August, we had King Charles actually opening the 8 Doors Distillery. I don't know, maybe he had to open 8 doors for that. I don't know. And it's the most northern distillery in Scotland. It was formerly, the most northern was Wolfburn, and long years it was the Pulteney or Old Pulteney distilleries. The new distillery is in John O'Groats, which is kind of really the most northern part on the Scottish mainland, and I think that's where the distilleries, where the ferries leave for the Isle of Orkney. And King Charles actually filled an American PX hogshead. Then we have a reopening. The Rosebank Distillery. It's over 150 years old, but it was mothballed in 1993, and that means 30 years of a break. And now the Lowland Distillery got new equipment, and the Ian MacLeod Distillers had the original plans, and after these original plans had produced new production equipment. And in 2024 they will actually open doors for visitors. Then we have Whyte Mackay actually doing a huge building operation, and that is they want to build in Invergordon, and they want to build double the capacity. It's a grain distillery that is kind of a way up from Inverness, a bit more north of Dalmore, and they were building mostly new warehouses, and they want to increase the capacity by 1.5 million casks. And that means they can store their whiskey longer and have older stock. Then we have Ian MacLeod, and they're actually getting a building permit also for warehouses, but this time it is in Thrusk, that's northeast of Glasgow. 9 warehouses, a blend center, and some buildings for clerks, And then let's go over to Ireland. The Titanic Distillers distilling their first whiskey in the pump house of the Titanic. It's the first distillery in Belfast since 90 years, and yeah, they're building that. They have distilled their first spirit, so the first whiskey will come out earliest 2026. But maybe they'll do it later. Depends on how tight they are on money. Okay, then next up in October, the Port of Leith Distillery has opened, and that was the first vertical and very innovative, very futuristic distillery in Edinburgh. And since 11th October, you can actually go into that distillery and see how a vertical distillery works. Yeah, and then in November and December, not much happened in opening whiskey distilleries, but let's move over to staff changes. We have big news is Sarah Burgess will be the new whiskey maker at the Lagg Distillery. She was already lead whiskey maker at Macallan and has 25 years of experience at Clynelish, Glenkinchie, Macallan, everything. Yeah. Then we skip over to May, and that was kind of a comeback with Johnny Walker, the old master blender, Dr. Jim Beveridge, came back and made a kind of a special blend out of Ross Isle and Cameron Bridge for 1,000 bottles and 1,000 pounds each. So yeah, that was, I know he's just passionate about whiskey. He probably can't sit still. Yeah. Then we have Jura's distillery manager actually gets into retirement. That was Graham Logan, who was a distillery manager, and now it will be Jamie Moore, who has been at the distillery since 2006. Then we have a bit of news in our own name, and that is Whisky.com is selling whiskey, unfortunately just in the Netherlands, but we're working hard to get all these taxes and tax forms ready for more countries. Also, our mother company of Whisky.com is Whisky.de, or closely related company, who celebrated their 30 years anniversary with special bottlings and a lot of special sellings and a special glass. That was a big thing for our German company. Yeah, that was it with the year 2023. So 2023. Did I miss anything? Did you have some news that you found particularly very interesting? Write it down in the comments below, or write in the comments what was the news, even in what I already have, that actually moved you in the year 2023. So what was the biggest news of 2023? Let's have a little bit of discussion in the comment section. That was it. Thank you very much for watching, and see you next time.